In the second chapter of 10th class history, we discuss the development of nationalism in India. Nationalism. It's a strong feeling of oneness all the people in the country feels among themselves. Though India has a long history spanning to many centuries, we never see Indians stood together to fight an invader or a social evil. We were divided in many lines. We were divided according to caste, language, religion, culture, etc. Each one was proud of his caste, religion, culture, and geographical locality. We were never in one nation. We were divided among many small kingdoms. There was no room for nationalism or feeling of oneness. Loyalty of people was towards a particular king. But things changed by the end of the second half of the 19th century. Amidst all differences and divisions, a feeling of oneness began to develop among us. The reason to this feeling of nationalism was a reaction of discontent to the British rule in India. There are many factors which contributed to the development of discontent to the British government and the growth of nationalism in India. Now let's examine those factors. First one, economic exploitation by the British. There was a common belief among Indians that the Britishers were superior to us in every manner, and their rule in India would benefit us. But soon we realized that the general aim of the British in India was to promote their own interest at the cost of welfare of Indians. For example, the British government took away a large part of the produce of peasants in the form of land revenue and other taxes. The hefty taxes made many farmers poor or landless. The British economic policies were always against Indian industry. The English East India Company used its political power to destroy Indian handicrafts and artisans. India was reduced to a mere source of raw materials for the industries in England and a profitable market for the finished British products from Britain. Again, the working class in India, who generally worked in industries owned by the Britishers, were exploited by them. The educated Indians who dreamt of getting a job in British government services could not get it, and those who got it found it difficult to get a promotion. They found the British policies in India, instead of uplifting India, it is keeping India economically backward. Thus, all the sections of the society realized that their prosperity lay in freeing themselves from the British rule. For this, they came together on a national platform. Next point, the repressive colonial policies of the British. The colonial policies of the British helped Indians to develop nationalism among themselves. In 1877, when India was facing drought and famine, when thousands were dying of starvation, the British government did not do anything to help them. Instead, Lord Lytton organized a grand darbar in Delhi to proclaim Queen Victoria as the Empress of India. Again, Lord Lytton introduced the Vernacular Press Act and Indian Arms Act. The Vernacular Press Act forbade Indians from publishing their discontent against the British government in any media. The Indian Arms Act made it a criminal offense to carry weapons without license. Both these laws were only for the Indians. The maximum age limit for the Indian Civil Service examination was reduced from 21 to 19. Thus, it made it difficult for Indians to compete for it. The import taxes on British textiles were removed. So the cost of clothes from Britain became cheaper in India than the Indian clothes. Because social religious reform movements in India also helped a lot in building nationalism. We know for centuries Indian society was based on caste divisions. Though earlier it allowed intermingling of different castes, later it became rigid. Restrictions imposed on different castes made it impossible for the people to feel oneness. Along with the caste system, religious differences, ideologies, and other social evils widened the gap between people. In this scenario, social reformers like Rajaram Mohan Roy and Jyotiba Phule emerged. They worked for the abolition of caste system, child marriage, dowry system, sati, etc. There was a time when Indians considered British culture superior to ours. Swami Dayanand and Swami Vivekanand proclaimed the superiority of Indian culture and civilizations. The reformers spread the idea of brotherhood of all and equality, thus helped many to shed their caste prejudices and enable them to accept all. They tried to uplift the condition of women and it enabled the women also to participate in the national movements. Slogans like Swaraj and India for Indians, raised by the freedom fighters, infused nationalism in Indians. The reform movements created a desire among the Indians a new society without division based on caste, creed, or religion. This strengthened nationalism. The role of the press in infusing nationalism among the Indians is not small. Newspapers, through the articles of eminent Indians and a strong criticism of the government, developed a strong national sentiment among the Indians. Now let us see how they did it. Through newspapers, the message of patriotism and modern liberal ideas of liberty, freedom, equality, and independence reached the people. Through reporting the unjust policies of the British government, they exposed the true nature of British rule in India. Again, through newspapers, social groups in different parts of India could exchange ideas and could organize political movements. And we know Indian National Congress was the spearhead of the Indian freedom struggle. But before the establishment of INC or Indian National Congress, some prominent associations were already there with their goal working for the freedom. And some of these associations as follows. East India Association. It was founded by Dadabhai Naoroji in London in 1866. The purpose of this association was to place the true state of affairs and the problems before the people of England and the members of Parliament in Great Britain. Then Indian Association. It was founded in 1876. Its aim was to promote friendly relation among Hindus and Muslims and to bring mass participation in public movements. They launched agitation against oppressive acts of the British. Indian National Conference. In 1883, Surendranath Banerjee founded Indian National Conference to work for the welfare of Indians. When A.O. Hume founded Indian National Congress later, this organization merged with it. A.O. Hume, a retired British member of the Indian Civil Service, wanted to set up an organization that would inform the government its administrative drawbacks and suggest remedies to rectify them. So in 1884, along with the Indian leaders, A.O. Hume launched the Indian National Union, and later, on the suggestions of Dadabhai Naoroji, his organization changed its name to Indian National Congress. Even the Viceroy, Lord Darwin favored this organization because he thought that through this organization the government will be informed of the popular discontent among the people and British interest in India would be prolonged. Definitely, this organization fulfilled the hopes and aspirations of Indians by achieving freedom of India in 1947. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you understood the lesson. Well, thank you.